today and raising the awareness of what's going on in the streets of Chicago. We're standing here today near the spot where 2 tourists were mugged at gunpoint just outside of their hotel last night. This is not a test. This is a wake-up call. Chicago is living the purge. When criminals ravage at will and the cops are told to stand down. J.B. Pritzker and his cohorts in mayhem are directing the film. With his Safety Act, J.B. is set to unleash the purge in neighborhoods all over Illinois as of January 1st. For those who will not see, many in the media, those who deny the hellhole Chicago has become, more people have been murdered in Chicago this year than New York City and Los Angeles combined. Let that sink in. More than 500 dead so far. J.B. Pritzker, Lori Lightfoot, and Kim Foxx are personally responsible for this. For those who will not see, lift the veils from your eyes before they're ripped away by one of the gangs or criminals that our leaders have set free. Watch the video of a gang of armed robbers terrorizing Wicker Park residents Monday. The cops spotted them getting away, but they were told to stand down. Don't try to catch them. Don't pursue was the words. That's the rule in Chicago. Those Wicker Park robbers are serial criminals. They went off scot-free and they will return. Alderman George Cardenas, a Democrat, tweeted in a response, "Public safety in Chicago is a joke. Why bother calling the police?" Except it's not a joke. It's a nightmare. Chicago has strict vehicle pursuit guidelines that make it impossible for police to do their jobs and let criminals go free. And it gets worse. JB is so enamored in these horrific rules that he passed legislation that imposes them on the entire state of Illinois. Soon, all of Illinois will look like Chicago, like a scene from a horror film come to life. We can and we must stop this. And here's how I will do it. Number 1, I will fire J.B. Pritzker. Number 2, we will repeal the Safety Act and the restrictions on police so that they can pursue the criminals. Number 3, we will pass legislation that allows Cook County voters to recall their state's attorney. Because even if the robbery gangs were arrested, there's a good chance that State's Attorney Kim Foxx would send them right back on the street. Number 4, we'll pass legislation cracking down on gangs. I've already co-sponsored legislation that would increase penalties for armed robberies and juvenile carjackings. Let's get to work and pass those bills. Friends, this is a nightmare movie. This nightmare movie only ends when we change the people in charge. If you want to see scenes like Wicker Park replay themselves in neighborhoods all across this state, well then J.B. Pritzker's your guy. J.B. Pritzker is a governor for criminals, not for law-abiding citizens. If you want change, you've got to change the leaders at the top. Residents of the once world-class city of Chicago, people of Illinois who want to stop Chicago's nightmare from spreading across this state, I call on you to join me in my bid to restore Illinois and return safety and hope to our people. Again, thank you so much for being here today, and I'll take some questions.
Senator Bailey, on Saturday you spoke at a Palestinian organization, and there's some Jewish groups who have expressed concern about that. You spoke in front of a map that erased the state of Israel, depicting the entire region as Palestine. The map labeled Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine. Jewish groups have kind of looked at this as accused you of a pattern of anti-Semitism, coupled with your comments comparing the Holocaust to lives lost during abortion. What's your response to that?
I strongly support Israel. I always have and I always will. But I will listen to everyone who wants to come to the table and talk.
Okay. And you also said during an interview with Palestine TV with a Palestinian journalist that you questioned the constitutionality of legislative measures backed by Governor Pritzker to counter the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against Israel. If you were governor, would you block anti-BDS legislation if that were to come across your desk?
That was a conversation that I had with them earlier, and I told them, they told me it was unconstitutional. I said, if it is, we'll take a look at that.
Senator, do you have a place in Chicago? Are you living or renting in Chicago?
Yes, we are.
And so you keep calling it a hellhole, so why have you chosen to have a place in Chicago?
Because as I've said from day one, I want to immerse myself in the culture. You can't deny there's problems here. And if we keep denying there's problems, the problems are going to get worse. All this whole entire journey, I have immersed myself in the culture of Illinois that I knew nothing about, because I know that I must do that if we're going to lead this state and make it the great state and the great city that it deserves to be.
Can you talk a little bit about what you see in Chicago that you like?
People. This whole journey is all about people. I love the people. And when we go into the businesses and walking along the street, as I was waiting for my Uber, people are coming up. People are looking for hope. I mean, this is not a game. I'm not looking for this to be, it's just something to put on my shelf. I want my children and I want my grandchildren to be able to enjoy the Illinois and the Chicago that I knew growing up. But it's all about the people, and we all deserve better than what we have and what we're getting.
Do you believe victims of crime should be featured in political ads like the super PAC that is supporting you, showing your women being murdered?
Well, I have nothing to do with that super PAC, obviously, but I think whatever we need to do to raise awareness and wake people up to understand, the situation with what's going on, because it's real. And in some parts of the city, they may not understand it, but come down here tonight and walk around. There's businesses here trying to thrive. Yet there was a mugging that took place here last night. We deserve better.
Senator, would you call for the pulling of that PAC's ad because it's upset so many people? It had its first real airing during the mayor game this weekend. And I know our station, and I'm sure the others too, heard from hundreds of viewers, but they didn't really want to see that on TV. Didn't think it had a place on TV.
Well, I think I addressed that just a minute ago. We're going to have to take the veil off, and we're going to have to understand how dire this is. One thing I'd like to know, did J.B. Pritzker reach out to the victim? Did he reach out and ask that victim if they were okay and ask about their concerns? To my knowledge, he didn't, and that's part of the problem.
Did that PAC reach out to the victim and ask for her permission to use that screen?
I have absolutely no contact with that PAC. To my knowledge, it's illegal for me to have any contact or any say whatsoever. So what they do on their own.
Do you support what they do?
What they do on their own. They're
support
supporting
what they
me.
do?
If they are making crime, helping make people aware of what's going on, I think that's a good thing, because things aren't going well here in Chicago or
Senator,
Illinois.
when are you going to start running television commercials of your own?
Well, if you'll remember in the primary, we were late showing up, and the people who were early spent their money foolishly, I believe. So the ads are coming.
Senator Lindsey Graham has proposed today in Washington a constitutional amendment that would be nationwide, and it would cover Illinois, and it would mandate that abortions here would be banned after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Would you support that? Or
Well,
do you think it's too soft?
I'll have to look at that. I haven't looked at that. I want to remind people in here in Illinois that women are well protected and cared for, and nothing is going to change here in Illinois regarding abortions, as Governor Pritzker tries to throw me in that category. People here in Illinois are concerned because their streets aren't safe. They're concerned because their taxes are too high. And they're concerned because our schools are failing. And we have got to focus on what unites us first, and that is exactly what I'll do.
Senator Bailey, it's pretty
Senator,
safe.
would you
It's pretty
support,
safe.
though, that kind of ban, a 15-week ban?
I will. The legislature would have to bring that to the table. So if the legislator brings that to the table, then we'll have that conversation. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.